With the recent measles outbreak, a lot of people are talking about vaccinations. Paige McCoy sat down with Dr. Paul Hayne of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, who explains the importance of getting vaccinated.
Let's get right to it.
Right.
How important are vaccinations?
They're incredibly important. It's probably the most successful medical intervention we've ever had is to prevent disease from happening. And we're certainly seeing that with the resurgence of measles cases lately, right? The hundreds of children stricken with a mostly preventable disease simply by not being vaccinated.
All right, so let's talk about some of the side effects. What are they?
Sure. Well, side effects to vaccination are really quite limited. It usually consists of a sore arm or maybe a little bit of a fever. But for the most part, the vast majority of people get vaccinated with no real side effects detectable whatsoever.
All right, so what types of vaccinations are most important to receive?
Well, that's an interesting question because it depends on whom you ask. But really, the most important vaccines to remember for me as a pediatrician are the ones you get as a child.
Right.
So early on, you start getting protected from some pretty deadly diseases, starting with your 2-month vaccinations. And then as a toddler, you hit the MMR vaccine. And one of those M's is measles.
Right.
So it's really important to get vaccinated against the measles. We know that when you get your 2-set shot, that's actually 97% effective in preventing it. And if you don't get vaccinated and come into contact with somebody who has the measles, you are 90% likely to get it. And measles is not anything to be fooled with, right? We know that 1 out of 4 kids will be hospitalized who get it, that 1 out of 1,000 will get encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain and end up in an intensive care unit, and somewhere around 1 in 1,000 will die from it. So this is something to not be taken lightly. Make sure you get your kids vaccinated on the appropriate schedule to keep them safe.
Yeah, and trust the doctors. When they say get your child vaccinated, they know what they're talking about. They have the research behind
This has been studied extensively.
All right. Well, you also bring up a good point because with the news about measles and kind of the reoccurrence of measles, people are concerned about whether they should get vaccinated as an adult if they were vaccinated as a child.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
Well, in general, if you've had the 2 shots, you don't need to. But for every individual case, as we heard from Dr. Morrow at one point, you need a primary care doctor, and that's the person you should ask about whether or not you need another booster vaccination.
All right, so where can people get those vaccinations?
So you can get them from your primary care doctor. Kids get them from their pediatricians or family physicians. You can get them from the health department. And Blue Cross actually has a caravan that goes out and vaccinates in certain areas. So there are lots of places to get your vaccinations.
This has been very helpful and, again, a very timely conversation as we hear about measles. It's nice to know we have a resource that we can go to make sure that we are updated on our shots. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
And as Dr. Paul Hayne stated, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas will be hosting a care van today. It's at Cobb 6th grade campus from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Note, children without insurance are eligible, but no appointment is needed. However, participants must bring completed shot records. Children must be accompanied by a parent or a guardian. For more information on vaccinations and other healthcare issues, go to standingwithtexas.com.